It's something every ham should do, isn't it?
Have you been?
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic.
Gotta go again.
Fantastic.
All right. Thanks for coming along tonight. We've got Tony VK7XTC. Where this has come from is Tony's been posting some pretty impressive photos, images about weather and from weather satellites on the Discord channel. And these photos, these images are, and Tony will tell you about them, but they're just very impressive because they cover quite a bit of the mainland, Tasmania, all the way down to Antarctica.
And across New Zealand.
And across to New Zealand. Yeah. So it's covering a huge amount of area, and each time he posts them, and I see this great big cell of very cold air coming up, I sort of go, oh, okay, so the next few days we're going to have to rug up and put another jumper on. So, but Tony's been doing this for a while, which he'll take us through, and if we stick around, what time?
About 9 o'clock.
About 9 o'clock.
There's a pass coming over about 87 degrees, and we should be able to do a live capture on the laptop.
So we're going to put the antenna outside, and you'll see exactly what he's talking about. So across to you, Tony.
Okay, thanks.
Cheers.
Today, I started this about 5 years ago now. Started off doing balloon tracking for Bureau Meteorology and chasing and retrieval. Did that for about 6 months and got bored with that. And then I had to try and think of something else I could do with the SDR. And then I saw this on Facebook, and then I thought I'd give it a go. And it sort of started from there. So I built my antenna using this software that's available on the internet, calculator. And it gives you all the drilling templates and everything. Scrolling too fast. I end up making one of these, a tall, narrow quadrifilia helix. The elements, they turn to the left, because then it receives right-hand circular polarised from the satellite. It has its maximum gain down by the horizon, because the satellite's about 3,000 k's away. When it's down there, when it's overhead, it's only about 850 k's above us, and you've got less gain. So it does all that. An LNA in here with a bandpass filter. So the bandpass filter is from 136 to 138 megs. It's a 20 dB gain preamp. That's about it for that. That's about it for that. The SDR and the bias T, I've installed that into an RF cage because my shack's a bit noisy with the computer, motherboard noise. So once I did that, that's quite knocked down a fair bit. The SDR dongles, you can get a cheap one for around about $30 something on eBay, which will do the job. So it makes it pretty inexpensive. You can get cheaper LNAs. You get an LNA for all, which will work from 0.1 to 2 gigs with no filtering. They're only about $30. That does the job as well. I've got some images here. That's when I was living in Adelaide, so you can see my location marker there in the Barossa Valley. And that's 2 passes, and that's from the Russian satellite, Meteor satellite M2, which is now out of commission. It's gotten that old, it just can't keep itself pointing at Earth anymore, and the Russians have given up trying to fix it. So they're going to launch a new one in the next couple of months. So that's on VHF, 137 megs, and that's pretty good resolution from there. Then we've got the NOAA satellites. That's a recent pass here in Hobart, so you can see my location marker there, it's moved. And a big chunk of Antarctica. That's about 2 to 3 degrees above the horizon. The capture starts there. And because of the mountains and Mount Wellington, I lose it at about 16 degrees on that side at the top. So that's pretty good there. This image here is the reception pattern from the quadrilateral helix from the tall and narrow one. So it shows you how it does the all sky, all horizon. It sees it all at once. With the software you can get multiple passes and the software will put them together. Like that one there, like Justin was saying, we've got WA across there and Antarctica's missing, but you can see the low pressure system down there. So that's about it for that. Now the software I use.
Is that a day pass, those photos? So like it's in colour and everything, is it actually a colour image?
The map's artificial.
Okay.
It's generated by the software, so all you're seeing is the cloud.
Yeah.
So in the daytime you've got a visual light camera and an infrared camera operating, and at night time you've got far infrared and mid infrared.
And that just overlays them over.
Just overlays it over the map. Yeah. Now I use G-Predict to do the tracking. This is live now. This is what's going over us now, NOAA 19 and NOAA 15. So, and this also controls the Doppler shift for reception as well. It talks to the SDR receiver, which I'll show in a few minutes. This is the software that does the imaging. It's called Weather to Image. It's no longer supported. So on Linux, I've got a script here which you can run, which updates the telemetries. Because Celestrack have gone from .com to .org, and .com is hard coded in the software. So unless you know how to disassemble it and change it, which I don't, you can change it over to .org. I can actually process a file. That'll do a live process of a audio capture done here a few days ago. It's building the map. The laptop's a little bit slow. There we go. So you can see the capture there, and you can see where I lose the signal where I pick it up from the horizon. So I've got the set to start at 0 to 0 on each side. And what you can do is you can hold your mouse down the bottom here, just above the noise, and you can read 21 seconds into the pass, or actually go there about 26 seconds. And if you scroll to the top of the image and hold your mouse there, you'll see 830 seconds, 37. So you can do a partial decode. What was the first one again? 26 and 837. And hit decode, and it will re-decode the image and it will take out the noisy bits. There we go. So if you look at the top now, all the noise is gone, we've got a nice image, and down the bottom we've got a couple of noise bars there, and you can make it look a bit better. Now with this one you can go to enhancements. You can change it to, that's the two cameras working. Anyway. So now you can get precipitation in the clouds, the rain intensity on your images. There's Antarctica here showing the cloud in it. If I go back to the this one here, you can see the two cameras that's received the two images out of the audio. So one, this will be a nighttime pass. So one's far infrared, and the other one's mid infrared. I don't have a daytime pass to look at. MSA I can't do because multispectral analysis because the solar elevation's too low, so you're not getting the sunlight on top of the clouds to show the clouds properly.
Is that just due to this time of year?
Yeah, it's only because we're at the winter solstice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sun's too low in the sky. So you can change to a different enhancement. Software also does different projections, so we can change our projection angle once it processes it to make it more realistic on the globe. Laptop's an oldie, come on. There we go. So now that's the path that the satellite's actually taken around the planet. So it puts it in proportion. Other parts of the software here, we can change the colours to a warmer colour. So each step you take, it changes the colours to warmer or cooler. So you can do all the editing, a lot of the editing with this software. Increase the contrast. And that's about it. It also has animations tab as well, but I've never tried an animation. So now,
Tony, you mentioned with the photo that you were sort of limited because of where you were, that you lose when you first get it and then you lose it. Sort of at the
yeah,
top.
well you got trees and hills and all that will get in the way of the signal.
So in theory,
and then you
as it's going over, it's just transmitting what it's seeing.
Yes,
So if
it's like
so
slow scan
it would
TV.
just keep, yeah, right. So it would just keep sending it. If theoretically you could receive, you know, for thousands of kilometres, it would just keep drawing along.
Yes, it just keeps going non-stop around the planet. It just keeps drawing one line at a time. It's like slow scan TV.
Yeah.
It just comes up on your, or if I do a live decode, you'll see one line at a time appear, and it just keeps adding to it as it's passing over. That's
So I've
live.
always assumed it was taking a picture and then transmitting the picture and then taking a picture,
No.
but it's not at all.
Not the NOAA or the meteors. The other geostationary satellites, they would just take a single image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're up on top of the mountain, you get quite a good long distance image because of the horizons.
You'll get the
all that.
horizon to horizon,
Yeah.
yeah. So usually about 15 to 17 minute pass, which is quite a long time.
You ever done that? You ever gone, you know, moved your gear to some place where you get?
Well, in Adelaide I didn't have to. I was 288 metres above sea level and on the Adelaide Plains, so I had a view. So I used to pick up the satellite half a degree above north, and half a degree I used to lose it to the south when I was living there. So you can see that. I'll show you again another image. But yeah,
That's 17 minutes from when it comes above your horizon to when it drops below the other horizon.
that's the actual recording time. Yeah, the weather to image software will actually comes up here at the bottom, not there. This tells you when the next one's coming, but it'll tell you how long the pass is, what the elevation is, what time it'll finish, and usually what time it'll peak at the highest elevation.
And you find you get a pretty decent copy the entire time on that antenna?
Not always. You got conditions. Sometimes you get some fade, you get a polarization, refraction sometimes with the atmosphere. When it's really cold and the air's really humid, I have a lot of trouble near the horizon. That usually doesn't clear up to about 20 degrees. Yeah, it's just, it can be a real pain. Then some days you'll just get a noise-free pass all the way through. So, but some people are using trackers and stuff like that. But as a passive antenna, this works pretty good most of the time.
Is this the most efficient type of antenna for this work?
No, it's not. This is probably the bare minimum, a quarter turn helix. You can make a multi-turn helix, but then you're going to get like a 7 metre tall antenna if you want to get a full weight. Yeah, so you can make it more efficient, but it gets hard to bloody mount it and stand it up. But there's other designs where they're only about this long. I think Richard, they're making one. They're going to have a workshop here, I believe, later on, and it's wider and shorter, and it does multiple. I think that theirs does a full turn. You were saying?
And what does the department use?
Pardon?
What does BOM use for that?
I would say they'd use a satellite dish with the right-hand circular polarised helix in the centre. I reckon they'd track it I'd reckon.
So the NOAA satellites.
Oh, but see, this is only low resolution. This is only in VHF. You've got 1.7 gigs, the high resolution pictures. So you definitely need to get a dish for that and to track it.
So the NOAA satellites, they have their camera pointed always, down towards the Earth. So I'm assuming that their antenna is also pointed in a pretty location where it's always going to be received, not like an amateur satellite that's going to be spinning all over the place.
Yeah, no, they've got gyroscopes that keep them pointing at the same place. That's what's wrong with the Russian sat. The gyros kept failing, and
It's in a bit of a spin.
it'd come over. I wouldn't spin. It'd come over, and you'd get an image down, and you'd find it'd be a point and a half out in space, and you get this really weird looking image of the Earth, but you could see the atmosphere on the edge of the planet, and it used to look really cool. But they tried fixing it, and then just before Christmas it was breaking down on a weekly basis, and in the end they gave up. So they were supposed to launch a new one 3 years ago, but because of COVID it never happened. But in the last couple of weeks it's finally been shifted to the Cosmodrome or wherever it is, but now they've got to find a rocket to stick it on. They've got to hitch a ride somehow to get it up there. So with what's going on over there, it'll be a while yet, I reckon.
Out of curiosity, on a really good day, how long does an image take to download?
Well, it takes as long as the pass. So
Okay.
if you've got a high elevation pass, you're looking at around 15 minutes
Okay.
to get a full image.
Wow.
And they're usually up around about 900 seconds.
Yep.
All up for a pass. So,
Oh well.
yeah.
How many satellites are passing us each day?
3 at the moment. 3 that are operational. The NOAA sats. They're the only 3 that we can get images from at the moment for free, without paying for software or using tracking dishes and stuff like that.
It's been a number of years since I received any photos of NOAA satellites, but I remember when I did it there was a lot more of them. So
Yeah.
they've all started to fall off.
Well, NOAA 15 is the one that's starting to break down now. Its camera jams up, and then for no apparent reason it just seems to free up and keep working again for another 6 months. But they're all getting pretty old now, and there's no more NOAA ones where on VHF that you can get for free. When these go, that's it. So hopefully they get this other Russian one up, and that'll give us another one. But then we've got to get the guy who does the software for the NOAA decode. We've got to get him to update it for the new satellite so we can use it. So that all depends.
So when you say that these satellites are free, is
Yeah,
there-
well,
is
some of the other ones, I don't know their names, but you actually got to buy the software to decode the image.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So pretty much with these other satellites, you have to buy a certain software.
You got to buy their software. You got to pay for it
Okay.
to get their image.
So this software that you've got now wouldn't decode.
No,
Okay.
no, they're all got a slightly different format.
And we're talking, we aren't talking, shareware prices here, are we?
I'm not sure. I actually haven't looked into it.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't. They're not on VHF. They'd be on 1.7 gigs. Yeah.
So then you need to upgrade your system.
You gotta
get a
upgrade your
trackable
system.
dish and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, trackable dish and everything else that
buy
goes
the
with it.
turnkey ground station set up and you're done.
Oh, of course. Sorry, I'll just step out and do that.
So I use SDR++.
Well, I guess you could get an SDR that wasn't that high, up to 1.8 gigs as well as a radio to receive.
Yeah, well, this one here does 1.7. Yep.
It wouldn't be the reception frequency if you have it's encrypted.
That as
so
well.
when
Yeah.
you get the software, that decrypts it, so
Yeah.
you actually, they're not going to have it coming out as an open stream.
No.
It's
Top
going
of
to be,
Well, they've got to make money out of it, don't they? So they put it up there in the first place.
Or is it just simply encoded, no one's published specifications and encoding the
there's
protocol?
a lot of people out there watching you from so if something exploited it out, they would have had it out by now. It's like software licensing.
Can I just say, one of the things we have later in the year is Mike DMH, 7DMH, He's actually experimenting right at the moment with the microwave
band. Yep.
correct, and the microwave satellites. So he's currently up in the North Island. He's escaped to the warmth up there with his wife, but we'll be back later in the year. So
Yeah, that'd be good to watch.
we've locked something in for him as well. So he uses an offset feed dish. He's come up with his own feed. Yeah, so
And gets high resolution pictures too.
well, I'm sure that.
Yep.
So yeah, that bit later in the year.
Okay, so I use SDR++ with the SDR. I use weathered image to do the images. So you've got to open all 3 bits of software, and G-Predict for the tracking. So I usually start off with G-Predict. The next satellite's NOAA 15. So we collect auto track, then come down to radio control. Just got to correct that. That's the wrong frequency. 137.620. Press track. SDR++ is running, so we press engage to do the Doppler. And you can see it's changing frequency. You can minimise that, minimise G-Predict. We can start SDR++ up. Now we need a bandwidth of about 48k to get the whole signal and keep out the noise. And if you look now, you'll see SDR++ is actually tracking, doing the Doppler shift. And because we don't have the antenna outside and there's not a satellite around, open that again. Yeah, so this just goes into standby now until a satellite comes in. So we've got NOAA 15, it's going to be 27 degrees on the western side of us, our location, above the horizon, and its peak elevation will be at 7 minutes past 9. So the software will start up all by itself. You just leave SDR++ just running, and weather image will start itself when the satellite gets to 0 degrees. That's it, and it does a live recording on there. I've got a couple more images. This one here is the, when it opens, that's the Russian sat, the Meteor sat. So that's from my location there when I was in Adelaide, so that's about half a degree south. That's the largest image you can capture.
You're pretty much the whole country.
I've got one here that does have the whole country. There's that one there. That's 2 passes, and that's the software puts them together as a composite for you.
Missing Darwin, but don't worry.
Yeah, that's not bad. This bright line here, that's just a reflection, because you've got, it's early morning, so that's heading towards the Terminator, and this is full sunlight, so that's what you're seeing there with the brightness patches on the images. It's just the timing when they come round in the day. It's always early morning or about this time of night. So with the Meteor ones, like this time of year now, the Terminator, all you get is a tiny little bit of corner up there showing. The rest of the image is just black. And that's it. I can actually run this again.
So how many passes do they make a day?
It's 3 each.
3? Each satellite?
Yep.
So
They
9
usually, well, it's hard to, if you go to the satellite list in here, pass list, you'll see they're the ones coming up tonight. So we've got 27 degree west, NOAA 15. That's the one I want to capture tonight here. So it'll be at that elevation at 11 past 9. That's tomorrow's list. Oops.
So are you stitching images, multi-pass images from different
This,
satellites?
yes,
Right.
yeah. If you can get all 3 passes from each 3 satellites in the day, the software will put them all together.
Right.
But
No, I was
they've got to
thinking your
be,
weather would change, you know, if you had
Sorry?
to wait for the same satellite to come back.
yeah. So they're the ones for tomorrow.
Yeah.
It starts off at 5:12 in the morning until 11 at night.
So those passes tonight, they're all within, what, 50 minutes of each other, or? Yeah, about 50
We'll
minutes.
see. We won't be running NOAA 18 because, NOAA 15 and 19 because they're too close together.
Yeah, okay.
And you'll find you'll get 3/4 of the way through capturing 15 and 19 will come in and the software will just change over on you. You know? So you just got to look at the list and pick out the one with the best elevation and then just delete the other one off your list for the day. Which you can do here under options. You go to active satellites. You can select which ones you want to track for the day. That's in weathered image. And you can do the same in G-Predict. So in G-Predict, I've got to close this off first. Got to close radio control. So you go down here into the configure, and you'll see the ones we got selected for the day. So we want to get rid of NOAA 18. You just chuck it back onto the list. And then it'll only track those 2. And there you go there. There's only the 2 there.
So when you've got it in radio control mode, it will track the one, and then when it's out of the window, it will automatically start tracking the next one.
When the footprint comes over your locator, it'll change frequency and it'll open up. And then the software, weathered image, will start up recording. So then if the next one like this here, the 2 are close together, so you get a recording to here, and then the next satellite comes in there and it just triggers this off and it changes your Doppler frequency on you when you're halfway through recording the other one, and it just mucks it all up. So you just got to pick out one, and they overlap about once a month. They all take turns, they all dance around with each other.
So these 2 satellites you're looking at there now, they do an orbit
Every
that covers
night,
the same piece every day?
they're polar orbiting, so they're taking the same path every 90 minutes.
Right.
You can see the different elevations here. One's at 810 k's up, the other one's at 863.
But of course the Earth's spinning inside that.
Spinning
actual
inside
orbit,
that
so
orbit at the same
one
time.
orbit,
So,
but that gets you the coverage of the
so they
planet
come
as
past. One will come past low here, and then it'll come over here, and then the other one will come over low the horizon on the other side on its next pass. Sometimes you only get 2. One will come through fairly high on its first pass, and then really low on its last one. So it all depends on the orbit and the rotation.
And they're pretty high compared to some of the
Yep.
amateur satellites. They're about 500 km or something. They're a bit like 400.
Well, they're in low Earth orbit.
Yeah.
It's like ISS is only 300 or something
Yeah.
k's up.
So you get a much bigger footprint.
Yeah.
Like that's covering almost
They launched
three-quarters of Russia.
they launched a new Russian satellite 2 years ago, Meteor MN2/2. It was only up there for a week, and it got hit by a micrometeoroid. So it punched a hole through it, put it into a spin, and it went through the cooling system for the VHF transmitter, destroyed that. So they ended up stabilising it, and they had to turn the transmitter off because it was overheating. So there's only high resolution pictures available from that one, which is still operating. But yeah, if you've got the microwave gear, you can still get images. That was only a week after it was launched.
So how many satellites are up there doing this job?
Just these 3
Just the 3?
active. Yeah, all the other ones are up there. There's about another 17 of them, and they're all kaput. They're all just up there, being shut down. Yep.
So what do other parts of the world rely on?
Oh, but you've got the Japanese ones. You got, I think it's called Himasat. It's a-
Himawari, I think it is.
Yeah, it's a geostationary one. It's situated about here on the planet, and that's where we get our images from BOM. is from that Japanese satellite there. America's got the GOES satellite, which are geostationary, which you can, but we can't actually get them from here because they're too low on the horizon for us to get.
There's something over Europe?
Oh, I'm assuming so. Yeah. I haven't looked into that. But you can see these ones here online. You can actually get online and see what images are coming from there. From the
So
Japanese one.
when this lot are doing the backside of their orbit, what are they looking at there? What comes into their field of view then?
Oh, whatever they're passing over the planet. Country, whatever.
Is there a normal path that they sit in?
Well, the Earth rotates underneath the orbit. So
Right.
as it's going around this way and the Earth is turning, every time it goes around it's got a different picture of the Earth when it's
Slightly
going past.
Right.
And it's transmitting it down. So you've got amateurs or even just ordinary people that have done this, and they're getting images from over top of their own country if the satellite happens to be passing over them. So they're getting images other parts of the country.
You're suggesting amateurs aren't ordinary people.
Yeah. I thought that was a given.
Not exactly that. I can actually show you.
A normal person.
We're going to go to social media now, but I can actually.
You're gonna show us a normal person.
I can show you what other people are I can show you what other people are getting in other parts of the world. On
Not going to TikTok, man.
yeah, I got to.
Do I need to censor this time?
No, you don't. I just got to turn some stuff off this little computer's. That was. Just let it catch up. Come on. There we go. So we go and search.
Non-crazy radio.
We are talking Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just electric problem. I can't find normal people.
Internet slow, is it? No. Here we go.
Oh wow.
Just yeah, the laptop's about 13 years old.
So it doesn't take cutting edge technology to do this.
No, it doesn't. Actually, I can capture an image with this. The only thing is you've got to be, because it's only a single core processor, if you move the mouse or open up Google Chrome, it takes priority away from it and then your image becomes, all the sync disappears on the decode. Come on. Okay, so there's one there of Europe. It's the same satellite. And if we scroll down, we'll see somebody else's there, Scandinavia. That one there, they've used NOAA 19 on that one. That's one of mine. That's 5 hours ago. That was me here. So that's coming tonight. That's the rain intensity and the change coming tonight. Yeah.
Now, what was Justin saying?
Yeah, that's a daytime pic taken.
Okay.
Today's image during this morning, and I just processed that when I came home.
And that's with the
Apparently
enhancement
north.
you were talking about.
Pardon?
That's with the enhancement the colour enhancement you were talking about.
Yes, that's with the precipitation enhancement. That's also using the visual light camera and the mid-infrared camera to get these images. But I've composed that composite myself using the weather to image software. So I took each capture for each satellite and I removed the noise from the top and the bottom, and then you click on auto process and then you just keep doing each one and the software will just put them all together for you without all the noise, and that's how you get a clean picture.
With the next pass, do you reckon we'll see the light in the sky that they've got down at
Oh, the
Mona?
Mona light.
If
No.
it's clear,
No, it's
not that good
no,
a resolution.
It's infrared.
It's not going to see.
So you're only getting the cloud,
It's not
and,
gonna
and you'll
see-
see in the infrared image, you'll see the outline of the continent. You'll see the heat radiating, but you actually won't. Yeah.
Not that wavelength of
Need a bigger fire.
light.
if you're on the Russian satellite on the daytime image, you can actually see bushfires and smoke and all that on the images. Yeah. Oh, and you can see contrails. You can also see ship movements in the ocean. You can see the wake on some of the other ones on the high resolution.
What's the resolution on those ones?
I've got no idea.
1920 by 1080.
Pretty good on the centre, if you can see, that's
On the Russian one, yeah, on the high resolution one, yeah.
I was going to say good enough.
So there's another guy there in Scandinavia. He's almost got to the North Pole. A bit of noise in his image there. That's another one of mine. That was from like 14 hours ago.
Oh wow.
So you can
is
see that's a noise bar there going through there. So I use because I'm using Linux. I use GIMP to remove noise and enhance the image a little bit before I put them up, just to make them look a bit prettier.
And for those who don't know, GIMP is the freeware version of Photoshop.
Yeah.
That's
So
very
that's,
impressive software, and it's free.
That's a
It's
day
image
ago.
manipulation
So that was
software.
what? That was a morning pass at 9:43 in the morning. This all runs on auto while I'm at work. That's NOAA 18 and NOAA 19 composite.
Oh wow.
Big piece of Antarctica down the bottom.
New Zealand road.
Yeah, yeah. Some of them you can get. Oh, from here I can get right up to New Caledonia. I can get that in the image sometimes. So this one here, this is the limit of my capture at the moment. That's. I got to click on it to make it show up. There we go. So that's the full length capture. That's the limit of my horizon for my QDH. It's a good chunk of it this time. Yeah.
So whereabouts your QTH?
Blackman's Bay,
So you get an elevation?
about 20 metres above sea level.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's actually really good.
So the antenna is probably about. The antenna is up about 20 metres above sea level. Yeah, the block is about 13 metres.
Is it that antenna here or another one?
No, it's that one there. It's on a 6-metre pole, just strapped to the back fence.
Do you get the neighbours knocking on your door wanting to know the forecast?
No, they don't talk to me actually. I'm hoping they
So you're
ask
just
me
like
what.
every other amateur.
I'm hoping they ask me what's going on. I'm going to say I'm looking for little green men.
Someone must have
So-
sold the hot water here.
What's your lowest horizon in what direction? From there?
The easiest one for me is south,
South.
so I can usually pick it up at about 1 degree. But then it all depends on the day and the night. This was a good capture. You can sit there and you can watch the signal. It'll just bounce and jump until it gets high enough. You know, it all depends what the atmosphere is doing. And if it's coming up over the hills there at Tinderbox from my place, or if it's getting through trees, or yeah.
Do you find inversions play havoc with you?
Oh, I don't know actually. An inversion, that probably would. I suppose you get a refraction of some kind of the signal. Yeah, so anyway, that's it. There's another one guy from in England. That shows his location, that's where he is. So this guy's actually got his quadrilateral helix in his attic, under his roof tiles.
Okay.
That's doing pretty good
Still.
if it's in the attic.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he's in a what they call a HOA, so he's got it hidden in his attic.
Works well.
Yeah,
HOA.
it's me again. I'm pretty prolific on here.
Association.
So,
Thought it was investing.
there's another guy using a different version of software to do the decoding for a bit of noise in that image. Yeah, North Pole. Geez, he's close this time. Yeah.
He's pushing it.
So there is one guy there that gets images actually of the North Pole as it goes over. Sorry,
Does he live there?
just about. Yeah.
So what is Santa's call sign?
Santa's call sign. Haven't you done Santa? Santa, there's a de-expedition up there in Lapland every Christmas. I forget what the call sign is now. OH9 something or something like that.
Okay.
I got a QSL card from home on 40 metres. I contacted them a couple of years ago.
Did you get what you asked for?
Yes.
Yeah, QSL card.
Yeah, I'll bring it in and I'll have to show you. Yeah, they're there every Christmas. Yeah. So anyway, that's about it for me. My presentation. Any more questions?
Questions?
Have you found any software that can do real-time decoding, or is it all post-processing the received
No,
audio?
this is real time. I can do this live tonight.
But so you actually can see the stripes coming through on the screen.
Yes, I can do it tonight if I get out there in about 15 minutes and start putting it up.
So I'm assuming you also so you do it in real time, then you also record the audio, process that.
Well, whether the image will record the audio on each pass. So you've got that all the time. So if you open it up and you go to open audio file, see it's got all the old files here.
So it spits out an image.
So
and
I can click on any one there and open it, it'll process it.
It's signal processing.
So even if you can't pipe the audio direct to do it live, you can record the audio and post-process it. Yeah, so there you go. So that's just, the laptop's not good enough for the screen, but yeah. Any other questions?
36,000 Ks.
So if you, the live image will come like slow scan TV, it'll be one line at a time.
Yep.
Creeping up the screen.
Reminiscent of 1990s internet.
All good?
Yeah, or NBN fixed wireless.
Well, thanks for listening to me. I was as nervous as buggery, so yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Good show, I appreciate it.
If you have any questions about doing it yourself, just get me on Discord or shoot me an email or message, whatever, and I'll help you out. I've got the internet buddy files and software, and I can just pass it on. I've got the what do you call it? Product codes and everything else to open it up. So yeah.
Cool.
I'll just share it around.
So grab a drink. It was what 9:10 was the.
Oh, that's the peak of it, but it'll only take me a few minutes to set it up.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so stick around and you'll see it.
I'll have it set up and
live
it'll just run. Yeah.
So yeah.
Isn't the same thing achievable with like an aviator antenna?
Sorry.
Isn't the same thing achievable? Wasn't Mike doing?
You can do it with a set of bunny ears from my old TV set.
Well, like sitting in the shop.
You've got to set them at
back there
120
is
degrees,
the,
and if you've got to point it in a certain direction, like south-north, and they've got to be a certain length, of course, for the wavelength. But you can do that with just a set of bunny ears as well.
That's for 7 centimetres.
Yeah, there was a girl in Victoria. She was using a resonant stainless steel whip, sitting on a garage roof as a ground plane, and she was getting good images.
Wow.
Yeah,
What's the radiator power of those? Do you know?
of the satellite
Yeah.
power output.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it. I don't know.
Still super high.
It's not much.
Imagine it's going through the QRP.
But you've got the advantage of it's all line of sight.
Yeah.
You've just got atmospheric loss, and that's all you've got to.
Tony, I used to look after APT gear in the 70s and 80s, and when we had it off the ships, we'd set up on top of the bureau building in Battery Point.
Yep.
And we'd just use a ground plane, just on a ground plane up there, a bit of welding wire,
Yeah.
and use
Yeah.
a bulkhead connector, so you had the 4 screws for the ground planes to go off.
Yep.
And just stick that up on top of
Well, the girl in Victoria, she was getting fantastic images just off a stainless steel whip sitting on the shed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the shed would work well. But yeah, I was interested to see where you were, because we could never ever get that far down to Antarctica. We get the coastline,
Yeah.
but because of the hills. And
I'm the only one in that Facebook group that's got Antarctica on an image.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the only one that's gotten that lives far enough south to capture an image.
So it sounds like it's more about obstructions than and
Yeah, well
and
here
elevation.
it'll be a problem. I've only got a 6 metre pole, and the building will be in the way probably on this side, and the tree line will be a bit of a pain. But we can get an image when it gets to about 25 degrees, I reckon, and it goes over the top. We'll get that part.
How high is the elevation?
87,
Ooh,
so it's nearly,
good
nearly
one.
dead over time. That's why I thought that one would be a great one.
Fantastic. It's easy.
Yeah.
And does the weather affect your reception?
It does, but when you look up signal through the atmosphere, it says it doesn't because it's travelling at the speed of light no matter what. But you do get some refraction and you get some flipping of the polarity. You know, you'll get fade like you do with anything. You know, I mean, when you go from here to the horizon, when you first capture it, you're looking at just on 3,000 kilometres. It's travelling. That's how far away it is.
I'm imagining if you have a tropo duct as well, that'll block it as well.
Probably.
Or enhance it when it gets further down.
What else does it? Solar storm. That'll give you degraded images. The aurora, when that was on, I couldn't get anything. All I got was garbage when that aurora was on.
Do you have any issues with like rain scatter? If it's
Yeah, just like
absolutely
anything.
pouring with rain,
Just like anything, when it's near the horizon, it's where it's its worst. When it's got to go through so much atmosphere, and if it's raining, you got so much in the way, you know, because the rain will be acting like a tree, you know, blocking the signal.
A lot of satellite stuff as well. If you get a really heavy rain cloud, that can pretty much be the same thing, where you get a lot of issues with connectivity and signal loss as well.
Yeah, sometimes it'll just surprise you. You'll think, oh, it's a crappy day today, and you'll get home and you've got this beautiful image. Yeah, everything's just lined up,
that's
you know.
Murphy.
So, but I always find the summertime's easier to get good quality images, especially to the west. All right, cool.
We reassemble at about 9 o'clock.
Yep, I'll just put all this back together. So you're welcome to come in and have a look actually before I pack it up.